All right, YouTube. So today's video, we're actually doing something pretty crazy. Check out what I got here. An RF 45 1.2. All you third-party freaks, guess what? No third party over here. A7R5, no problem. A7V, big problem. You can't use your third parties. You're kind of screwed. So if you bought your Sigma, Tamarons, all of that, no problem. Get a box of tissues, wipe them off. No problem with your tears. Right? Because none of that's going to work until Sony decides that it's okay for you to go back to you actually using that. Now, if you had a Sony lens, you wouldn't have a problem. But guess what? This is not a third-party lens, and it's under $500 for a 45 1.2. The unboxing, it's done, right? It's already out of the box. It's right here. We don't need to unbox nothing. It's right in our hand. This thing is small, and it's insane for a 1.2 lens. You can see this on the R6 Mark III. The latest offering from Canon, and I'm just like swinging it around like it's less than 400 grams. It's like a joke. It's pretty insane for a 1.2 in my hand like this. I could literally shoot a wedding all day long like this. Now, someone's going to sit there and say, but it's not an L lens. Absolutely correct. It doesn't have the red ring, but you can go to Home Depot and you can put a red ring on it to make yourself feel kind of luxury, kind of excited. That's the L, the luxury part, right? Just because if you can't afford it, I get it, no problem. But the L lens is better. Now, how much better? That's all subjective, right? So I'm going to pop up a couple of photos up on the screen here as we talk from time to time so you can actually see some shots from this thing. And we'll talk about the good points, the not so good points. But, for $500, they're actually just points. They can't really be bad points because, when you're trying to actually just buy something economical without breaking your bank, you can't complain. But when you're paying $2,000 for something, the same kind of lens, and you got issues, yeah, you got every right to complain because at $2,000, those issues should be fixed. At $500, I can live with some of it, whether it works or not. So not saying there's anything wrong, but I will let you know what it is. So when you order, you know exactly what you're buying. So with that, let's get right into this video. What is this lens? It's a very unusual focal length, right? 43 millimeters, as you guys have heard many times on my channel, is dead center on a full frame. This is as close as you're going to get to what the human eye is. It's not exact, but it's close. And it's a 1.2 lens. So guess what? You don't have to worry about light problems, right? Why? Because the amount of light coming into this compared to a 1.8 or even f2 lens, it's astronomically more, right? So it's not an issue. If light is an issue still, guess what? Pick up some extra lights, buy some lights, buy a flash unit, do whatever you got to do. You take care of you, and make sure the lighting is correct. Lighting is key. It's a fast lens, but it does not substitute to you actually using a piece of lighting, especially like a flash, right? You should be using that. The only thing on this lens is a autofocus and a manual switch, like you see here. It's got a good sound to it. I don't know if you can hear that in my thing here, but it's just one switch, nothing else on here. You have your focus ring here. It's like butter, smooth. And then out here, you got the little clicks, and this is your control ring on the lens. So you can program this to be whatever you want in the camera menu. How to do that, that's a whole different video. You can watch some of my R52 videos where I actually teach you how to set this guy up, and you can watch that. That's not what this video is about. The other thing, I thought they were going to chimp on this thing. Look at that. It's an actual metal mount. And guess what? It's not made by Joe Blow Motors in China somewhere and charging you all kind of money. By the way, let's talk about wheel tracks for a second. The cheapest wheel tracks, that's 1.2, is almost $600. And guess what? It's not full frame. This guy's full frame. You listening, Sony? You got nothing even close. Nikon, not even close. Any other brand you want to think about? Panasonic, not close. Olympus, not close. No one got it. Now you know why this brand is #1 in the world, and they will remain #1. So, like I said, for the last 10 years, you might be #1 in sales when you got no competition, but now that the competition is here, guess what? Sony's #2, Nikon's #3, Canon's #1, and they haven't even opened up their mouth. The best part, they don't need to. But if they do, fine, it's up to them. Am I going to be buying third party even when they open up the mount? Nope. Guess why? Let me show you something in the camera. And I'm going to talk about this one because I want you to be very aware of what you're actually doing when you're spending your money. When you go inside the camera, I'm not sure if you can see this on the menu. I'm going to try to bring it up so then we can bring it up on the screen. All right. Are we able to see this on the screen? All right. This right here is a lens correction. This camera knows exactly what this lens is. When I buy a Sigma, Tamron, Joe Blow Motors, type of lens on here, guess what the camera knows? Nothing. They have no way to know what you stuck on there. It has no way to correct it. If you are a JPEG shooter and you've been shooting like this, you've been missing out because you don't know, because all of the abnormalities of the lens are actually in your photo. Some people never even ever notice, so it's not a big deal. For me, this is very important to make sure that the piece of glass that I'm sticking on is important. Let me tell you a little secret. There's a little button up here on the R5 Mark II and R6. This button right here, if you can see this button, you move it this way, bam, it goes into, Steven Spielberg mode. That's called the video mode. That's when you actually start making videos, right? When you make these videos with these lenses that are third party, your camera has no idea what the lens is, how to correct for it. And in video, you can't sit in Lightroom and fix that, my friend. So if you got a Sony camera, buy a Nikon lens. If you got a Canon camera, I hope you buy a Canon lens, especially at this price. No one else got it, right? So you got a 1.2 that you can actually shoot video with, and some of you will get really excited and put that little pole out there like this and start doing this out there. Oh yeah, I'm gonna vlog with this thing with a long stick over there with a 45, just to be able to shoot it at 1.2. And that's okay if that's what you want to do. Kind of dorky for me, but if that's your cup of tea, go do it. The other thing with this lens that's very important to understand, if you turn the lens corrections off in the camera, is there chromatic aberration? Absolutely. Is there green fringing? Sure. Is there purple fringing? Sure. All of that is free. You don't charge you any extra. $459, you get all of that. But nowadays we call that a vintage look, and we call it what? Oh wow, there's an actual funny word to it. The lens has character. No, it's flawed. I get that. It's $500. It's supposed to have flaws with it. If it was $2,000, it better not have any flaws. At $500, okay, no problem. But guess what? At least they're giving you something like this, a 1.2 lens. No one else is even doing that. So guess what? Sigma, Tamra, all these other brands, Joe Blow Motors out of, China and other places, you better wake up. Because guess what? The big boys are here. You want to compete? You got to give me a 1.2 lens now for $300, not for $500, because I got a Canon branded lens for $500. For me to buy a third-party lens, which is not even branded by Canon, it better be $300 and it better be full frame. Now I want to see what they actually compete with. You're not going to be able to compete. This is the same thing Canon did, like I told you guys before, when the EF mount came out. And it destroyed every other brand, and they had no chance of surviving. You are not going to beat Canon on price. Try all you want. R6 Mark III, that's not what this video is about, but $1 for what you're getting in this camera compared to the A7 IV, I don't think there's even a competition type of video. This versus this. There's nothing versus. What this camera has, the A7 V has a third less, and it's got the cripple hammer out. So Canon used to have the cripple hammer. Guess who's got it now? It's Sony. The tables have turned. The game's over. And if you're thinking that you're going to sit there, oh, I'm going to leave Canon and go to Sony and I'm going to do, you're not doing any of that shit anymore. That day's over, right? Why? Because there's a new sheriff in town and it ain't Sony, right? It's right here, number one, right? So when you're in the number one camp, are you worried about number two? You're not, right? Just like the Benz that I drive. When I drive that Benz, I don't look at who's driving the Honda Accord, but the Honda Accord guy looking at me who's driving the Benz, right? That's cool. Nothing wrong with that, right? It's okay. I'm being sarcastic, but you know what, guys? The moral of the story is, even if you buy a cheaper lens, please look and see if the brand offers you the focal length that you want. If they are offering you that, buy a branded lens, because the camera is going to know exactly what it is, and you're going to do yourself a very big disservice if you don't do that, because you're going to sit there trying to correct all of the abnormalities of these third-party lenses, which I have no idea what Sigma is doing. Secondly, Sigma sells a lens. Sony, Canon, Nikon, how much money do they make? Zero. They make nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's in their best interest to sell you their own lenses, and they are competing. And I'm not putting other brands down, but this is a wake-up call for Sony and Nikon for sure. Number 2 and 3, offer these kind of things for your brand, because I know they do have some of these lenses like this, but most people don't even look at them, right? So in my opinion, I have nothing against third-party lenses, but if the camera could understand what a third-party lens is, I'm all in. But just because it can't, I don't have the time to waste. My time is worth money, to sit around and actually fool around with all these things. But if you're doing it for fun and you just want to just have some fun with it and you just don't really care, fine, go ahead and just get whatever you want. But under 500 bucks, I don't know, man. Canon really hit it out of the park here. This lens is pretty incredible. The best part is when you zoom in and out, as you can see, if you can get a shot of this, I'm not sure if it's actually, yeah, it's moving. It doesn't, I'm trying to get it to like not focus so it goes in and out a little bit so you can see it. This element inside never protrudes outside of the frame of this barrel, which is kind of cool. The other thing that I see this to be kind of problematic over a long period of time is maybe if you're not taking care of your lenses and keeping this area clean, you could get some dust in there. Size comparison, I'm gonna ask my assistant here to give me the R5 Mark II with the 85 f2 on there. And with this lens, you'll get an idea. This is the 85 f2 f lens mounted on the R5 Mark II. In comparison, if you look, this is the 45, this is the 85 in right here. It's actually smaller than the 85 f2. And this is a 1.2 lens. Pretty amazing. I don't know how Canon pulled this off, but heck, for under 500 bucks, you know, we blow that on a weekend, right? Go to the movies, get some popcorn, hang out, you know, go do something else over the weekend, you know, go to maybe the fair, and all of a sudden $400 is already gone before you know it. And maybe you got $100 left. Save your money, buy something like this, and for the holidays, this is a hell of a camera and a hell of a lens combination. You could literally travel with this, with the 45mm on a full frame like this, and have no issues. It's a good focal length. It's going to require a little bit of, you know, discipline, or you can get the wider 28, so you could literally stick this and the 28mm that you've seen under $300. Between both of those lenses, you're at $800, and they're native Canon lenses, not aftermarket. And you can stick it onto something like an R6 Mark III, R5 II, whatever, R7, and you can have a field day. So with that, that's really my review. Pretty impressed, but you already saw the shots. So what's stopping you? Use the links below. Actually go in and order this lens, because it might already be back ordered, but just order it and just wait. The camera is already back ordered. You know, a lot of people obviously didn't know what the heck they were doing, so they kind of overheated it or said that it overheats and things like that, and did the test wrong, and they had 6 other videos of that. Anyway, all of that is just noise. Order the damn thing. It's got no issues with it. It's outstanding. It's going to work. And in my book, the people that have the 5D Mark IVs shooting weddings and events, the R6 Mark III with this lens combination for affordability is probably going to end up in most event and wedding photographers' bags that are especially just starting out. This is a hell of an offering. So definitely give it a look. Don't overlook it. If not, if you can't afford to buy it, rent it and try it. Right? I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how good it is. So with that, like, subscribe, be nice to each other, go out there, create your magic, and I will talk to you in the next one.